Salute BookTube. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. Whatever the case may be, I'm here for a tag video. I was tagged by JJ, the uh, blacksmith booktuber, or the blacksmith bookworm, I think. This is the official channel name. JJ is her name. I'll link to her tag video where she tagged me in the description box below. I'd like to thank her for tagging me, but the tag video that you tagged me on was one I was trying to avoid. I have been seeing it making the rounds on BookTube, and it's a very difficult. I think it's got the it's been given the name the impossible book tag because it's got some very sadistic questions in it. Difficult questions to answer. Either or, you'll see. I mean, I took a look at the prompts. Uh, so I was trying to avoid it, but JJ kindly tagged me, so I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna do my best. It's actually the official. The official tag is called Would You Rather book tag, but it's gotten the name now of the impossible book tag. But anyway, let's start with number one. Number one says never read more than one book from the same author. You can't reread either. Or read only books from one author of your choice. For this one, I think I would go for never read more than one book from the same author. I think if you read the same author, I mean, I do know that there are people with favorite authors, but even the best authors have stinkers once in a while. I mean, we're in September now and it's Shake-tember, and a lot of us are reading Shakespeare for September. I'm sure Shakespeare also had some flops. So, again, it's a difficult one because if there's an author you really like and he or she is consistently good, then you could read them for forever, but again, you stick to one author, maybe it's a bit close-minded, so I would say one book, more than one book from this. Never read more than one book from the same author. Number two, read a book with an unlikable main character or your favorite character dies. I think I'd go for unfavorable character. I like a good villain. I find them interesting. And if it's a favorite character or your favorite character dies, then there's no possibility of a series, so you don't want that happening either. So I think I'd say I would go with an unlikable, read a book with an unlikable main character. Number three, start your library from scratch, but you can't rebuy any of the books that were on your shelves before, or never be allowed to add a new book to your current library. Tough question. Very tough question. I think my issue is a lot of the books I have, those books there at the top, there's others that are a bit out of camera. Those are some of my books I inherited from my grandfather's library. They were his books, and there's more over there, and that's not all of them. Some of them are scattered around, and then there's even more at my relative's house. So I wouldn't want to lose those books. And then I've also amassed quite a good collection of Middle Eastern books and books about the Gulf region, the Arabian Gulf or Persian Gulf region. Again, behind the chair, a sizable collection there. To lose that and to start from scratch would be difficult. I've got some rarer and older books from that time, so to lose those, I wouldn't mind just starting a fresh library. Everybody, I think, has that. You know, if you could just start from scratch. But because I have those those books with a bit of sentimental value, it'd be tough for me to get rid of them. But if I didn't have that, I wouldn't mind starting fresh. Um, but again, books about the Middle East, you don't find them every day, and some, especially the older ones. So I'm reluctant to lose them. Number four, your favorite author never publishes anything new or only publishes bad books from now on. Your favorite or only publishes bad books from now on. Well, if he publishes bad books, you wouldn't want to read them. So I would say your favorite never publishes anything new. Uh, I mean, yeah, and you would hope that some other author would come up and pick up the slack. These questions are difficult. I don't know. Really tough. Uh, but I don't. If your favorite author starts publishing bad books from now on, would he or she be your favorite anymore? So yeah, I guess I would say my favorite author never publishes anything new. Um, and then hope that I get another my second favorite. Question five: read only one of your favorite genres, or read as widely as you want, except in that one favorite genre. No, definitely read only one of your favorite genres. For me, I'm a big history reader. I like history books. So I'll be more than happy to read history from now until the end of time. Uh, that's not to say I do read fiction, and it would be tough. A world without fiction would be tough. Um, but I'd hope if I couldn't read any fiction, I could maybe watch movies. That would be a good um, not a good compromise, but a good replacement if there was no fiction. I also, although I liked reading histories from time to time, I like reading biographies as well, which is very linked to history and uh, just to change pace. But again, I wouldn't mind just reading history. I have enough. I think I have enough history books here to keep me entertained for a lifetime. Entertained and maybe for research purposes as well. That actually goes back to the last question or the question before last about with number three, start your library from scratch or never be allowed to add a new book to your current library. My current library right now, again, I have enough books, I think, to keep me not just entertained, but with enough research material to write books of my own. I think I have enough. Of course, there's always more, but I have enough, I think, to write some books that I do actually want to write. But anyway, let's go back to I went backwards. Let's go to number six. Uh, be stranded forever on a deserted island with a full library, or live in society but books have disappeared. No, I don't think I can live in a place without books. I mean, I could watch TV and movies. I could, but I couldn't live without books. Stranded on a deserted island with a library full of books. Yeah, why not? It ideally maybe. Yeah, no, I would go for forever on a deserted island with a full library rather than live in society without books. Definitely. Number seven, SFF. I think that's science fiction and fantasy. SFF. Read only five-star series, but they're unfinished, or read only thick standalones with a bunch of info dumping. Well, as a preferred nonfiction reader, I don't mind info dumping sometimes. But in fiction, I can understand why people don't want a lot of info dumping, because then that's not why you're reading fiction. And for all the nonfiction I read, the only writing that I've done has been actually fiction and historical fiction. The books I have or the stories that I've written have a historical fiction sort of background or style. But I've noticed I do a lot of info dumping, so it becomes I'm sometimes I'm worried. I'm like, is this really fiction? Will people really enjoy this? Should I just while I'm writing, maybe I should make this into a nonfiction book because you can do a lot of info dumping and it can get if you're not careful, it could it could ruin a book or not make it as entertaining. Um, so this is really tough because Read only 5-star series, but they're unfinished. Uh, that's so tough. Or read only thick standalones with a bunch of info dumping. Again, because info dumping, if it's the science fiction info dumping, I wouldn't like that. So I think I'd go read with only 5-star series, but they're unfinished. I can always finish them myself, do a bit of fan fiction and finish them myself. And then number 8 is mystery. Always get book twists spoiled, or they all have an open ending, the killer isn't caught. See, this number 7, number 8, the one I just read before number 8, because I took a quick look at these prompts before I filmed. And this one I didn't understand too much. Mystery, always get book twists spoiled, or they all have an open ending, the killer isn't caught. I wouldn't like a spoiler. I don't like spoilers. So I'm gonna say all have an open ending, the killer isn't caught. And then if the killer isn't caught in the open ending, again, I can end them myself if I was doing fan fiction or something. Or prestige, for example. So again, I'm not a fan of spoilers. Number 9, historical romance. A great love story but with historical inaccuracies, or a toxic or meh love story but great historical world building. Great historical world building. That's an easy one. Great historical world building. Again, because I'm a nonfiction history reader, that's an easy one. Not that I have anything wrong with romance. I haven't read a lot of romance, but it's something I'd like to get into. It's something I'd like to get into, and I think if I don't know, I have a feeling I'd be a good romance author. I think I would, but I need to read more romance. And I think I'd be a good historical romance writer. But again, I need to read more. It's easy. Talk is cheap. But I would still go for great historical world building, definitely. Number 10, read a book that has the best characters, plot, writing. You can only choose one, but none of the others. Okay, read a book that has either the best characters, the best plot, or the best writing. And you have to choose one. You can't choose the other. I've always been more of a plot person than a character person, but then it's either character, plot, or writing. So I would just say good writing. I'd just take good writing, and I think good writing means has good characters and good plot. That's what I would imagine. So I think I would do that. Um, yeah. Question number 11, or prompt number 11 says, have a friend who loses your books or mistreats them, stains them, breaks the spine, etc. Well, thankfully, I don't have that many friends I don't have any friends who read, actually. As a matter of fact, I don't have many friends at all. And that's, as I've gotten older, I've lost more and more friends. And I think it's because I've been reading so much that I've become antisocial. Uh, and then when you start reading so much, I hope none of my friends IRL in real life see this. But what I mean to say is, you're reading some heavy tomes and dialogue from hundreds, thousands of years, and it's hard for your friend to match. I don't know, Plato or Aristotle or I don't know, somebody from the Middle Ages, or Tolstoy, you know. But the question is still, I haven't answered the question. I'm trying to dodge the question. It says, have a friend who loses your books or mistreats them, stains them, breaks the spine. Again, this tag. Um, uh, I mean, again, ideally, I wouldn't give my friends any of my books. And again, most of my friends aren't readers, so and none of them know about this channel. So I don't know. I'm not answering that question, but I mean, if they lose the book, I guess you can get a replacement, but I wouldn't borrow a rare book or a book with sentimental value. Number 12, never be allowed to visit a bookstore again or be banned from all the libraries in the world. Where I am, the part of the world where I live in, the United Arab Emirates, in the heart of the Middle East, the library system is not that great. It's not that great because it's first of all, it's skewed more to Arabic books, so the English books are much less. And then the books that are in the libraries here are mostly local based or local interest books. There's not a lot of English books or books coming out in America or Europe isn't gonna come here at the regularity. I mean, I see a lot of um, booktubers, U.S. based booktubers, Europe and British based booktubers, Australian, Canadian, etc. There's the library system where you can if you don't have if your local library doesn't have the book, you can request it from the more broader regional system. That doesn't really exist here too much. So the libraries aren't. I give them a I don't know, a generous 6 out of 10. But the prompt says it says you're never be allowed to visit a bookstore again or be banned from all the libraries in the world. uh, when I travel, I'll see a library from outside, but I won't go in and insist to take out a book or to sit down and read. If the library's in a historic building, I'll go check it out if it has. But if you're visiting and the library, being a member of that is not gonna, you're probably there for a few days, a week max. So the visiting the library isn't gonna be much of a, isn't gonna give you much value. So again, and I also like book shopping. I just like it. I like browsing libraries, but I like buying books. I like looking at them and taking them. It's it's a tough this book this tag. Uh, so again, I think I would go for go to a bookstore again because my libraries here aren't that great, and traveling the world, I can look at a library from outside. If you're visiting a library, you're not gonna take out a book if you're a tourist in that place. So 13. Everyone hates your favorite books, or everyone loves the books you hate. uh, well, most people hate the books that I like because I read mostly history and nonfiction, and the majority of the booktubers and I think readers generally prefer fiction. So everyone hates my favorite books anyway, but or everyone loves the books you hate. Um, there's a few genres, I don't know if hate, I just dislike them or I don't read them. But I don't care if everyone hates the books, my favorite books. I couldn't care less, so I think I would pick that. 14. Only listen to audiobooks narrated by the worst narrator, e.g., Mickey Mouse, or only read physical books in terrible lighting. My experience with audiobooks isn't. I haven't had. There was a few. I tend to prefer audiobooks in fiction because there's characters, and although I know that there are a lot of readers who say I'd like to keep the characters based on my imagination, a really good audiobook narrator will do a good job of getting the tone and the voice of the story. So I've had a few good experiences with fiction. When it comes to nonfiction, I find audiobooks a bit stale, hard to follow, because there's no characters, there's no, for example, the character in quotation marks has dialogue and then says he said uh, with a mighty laugh. You could do that with an audiobook. With nonfiction, there's very little of that. So, um, but then, or would you rather read physical books in terrible lighting? That's terrible because terrible lighting isn't good for the eyes and it gets uncomfortable. And you want to read, if you're going to read physical books, you want to be as comfortable as possible. So, again, but I think I'd still take terrible lighting only because I don't have much experience with audiobooks and it's not something I've tried too much. Although when I've tried it, especially with fiction, the experience has been good. When it's with nonfiction, the experience hasn't been that good. So, um, yeah. Um, Again, I don't know if I've answered. I'm gonna keep it open-ended. 15 books from the same series collection that don't match, or books printed in a tiny font. I don't like tiny fonts. Too small is a little bit difficult. So books from the same series collection that don't match, I would take. I actually, because I looked at these prompts before, and I actually pulled out an example because I get that a lot here in the bookstores. Again, I don't have that many bookstores in my where I'm from. It's not as broad. There's not as much choice as again the Western world and North America and Europe, etc. So you take what you can get. You can't be too picky. With, oh, I want the same collection, the same set, the same series. They all have to look the same. Um, so here I have an example. This is the Sharp series by Bernard Cornwell. I have most of the books of his Sharp series, but I don't have them all in the same format. So there's one example is this. This is Sharp's Battle. Okay, and that's um, it's this format. It's a Harper kind of bigger paperback. And then there's the example of this. This is Sharp's Rifle by the same author, the same series. This is by it's also by Harper, but it's very different. You can see the difference. Um, and then there's a Penguin edition of it. This is Sharp's Honor. Again, a very different with the orange, black and orange penguin version. Again, the same series, the same author. And then my favorite ones are these, the Harper small paperbacks with the nice historical paintings. This one is Sharp's Fortress. And this one, the difference in the format. So again, I can't be choosy. So in that case, tiny formats I don't like. So I wouldn't mind. Ideally, you want them in the same set, and it looks nice and uniform and really pretty on your shelves. But again, beggars can't be choosy. So yeah, that's it. 16. Oh, sorry, there was one more. 16. Never post another YouTube video or never watch YouTube ever again. It doesn't say BookTube. It says YouTube. Never post another YouTube video or never watch. Well, I'm new, so I wouldn't want to. I mean, I'm new and I'm not that interesting. So, uh, I've lived a long time without my own channel, but it's hard for me now to have a life without YouTube and especially BookTube. So I think I would choose. I'm not that important. I would choose never. I would say never post another YouTube so that I can watch. I can watch YouTube and watch others and get their opinions on books. I think I choose that. So, I mean, my life was. I mean, I've enjoyed making booktube videos, but I think I can live without making them. But can I live without others and the other booktube videos and YouTube generally? A little bit tough for me. So. Yeah, and that's it. It says number 17, tag your booktube friends. Well, a friend wouldn't put another friend through torture. Uh, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say if you're crazy enough to want to do this booktube tag and you're watching this, consider yourself tagged. I'm not gonna put a specific person. I don't want to put them through this. This is really difficult, thought-provoking questions. But fun to do. Fun. I enjoyed this. Thank you, JJ. I'll link her original video below. And I'll say thank you very much. Salute, BookTube.